So I want you to understand that a lot of people try to traumatize you into submission. They try to traumatize you into, into supporting them and joining them. Okay, I'm talking about evil people, murderous people. So, you have to be on guard for that. Okay, your body, you can't allow your body to get traumatized into some kind of reactive state where you side with an evil person. Okay, if you ever join an evil person, you've become evil. Do you understand that your life is ruined? And it can happen in like a traumatic reaction kind of thing. Like you have to maintain control. Okay, you have to guard yourself. All right, they may be coming at you, they're trying to come at you quickly, trying to get you to react traumatically. They're throwing accusations at you. They're being, they're trying to be intimidating. Okay, you understand? They're being violent, and they're trying to manipulate the people around, and they're threatening you with things. They could be threatening you with firings and violence and ostracization, and okay. And this happens in all sorts of situations. All right, that you can't ever be evil. So they try to traumatize you into saying that they are good. Maybe into being confused about if they're good or not. Okay, losing your ability to perceive what's actually happening, like traumatizing you to where you actually, stop realizing what's going on. You're not, you're not perceiving things properly anymore. So you have to guard yourself for that. So part of that is maintaining suspicion of people. Okay. Okay, make sure you're thinking before you act. Think before you speak. If they're trying to rush you, don't allow that to happen. Okay, maintain a thought process. And, just say, look, I need to maintain, I think the word is prudence. I need to maintain, maybe the word's deliberation, but I think you know what I'm talking about. You need to think before you act and speak and all this stuff. So if you are in a position where they're throwing accusations and they're maybe trying to rush you, or whether it's the government or whatever, it's not a bad thing to say, look, I need to maintain control. I can't get reactive. Okay, I have a responsibility to be a good person, and I need to take my time. Okay, and if they are reasonable, they're not going to, they're not going to think that you're a bad person for that. Okay, that's a respectable thing. But this thing about giving people the benefit of the doubt. Okay, you need to maintain suspicion of people. Okay, when you're not certain of what's going on, and you can't ever get confused into this idea. And they may try to manipulate you with this. You can't get confused about this idea that people are innately good. Okay, that you should trust that, that person or all people just have, that person or all people just have this like fundamental goodwill, and that, everything they're doing is for a good cause. Maybe if they're doing something wrong, they had some kind of good intention that they mistakenly attributed some action to being conducive to the good intention that they had or something, but they did have a good intention. Okay, that's not the case. People are not inherently good. We have free will. Okay, all people have the capability of being evil, and you have to maintain that you know, that knowledge and act accordingly. So don't ever get confused about, you know, that person being actually trustworthy. Okay, nobody's trustworthy. Free will actually makes trust like complete trust, like actual confidence and certainty that somebody will be good. That's impossible. So don't get confused about that. Don't get confused about people having this innate good intention. Okay, that's just not the case. People have the capability of being evil, you know, fundamentally, like making a fundamental evil decision with no good intention, just absolute savagery. You know what I mean? So when people say give someone the benefit of the doubt, okay, you know, just don't be naive. All right. Understand that a lot of people are trying to traumatize you, you know, into being in this kind of reactive state to where you are, you know, to where you act in support of their evil behavior. All right. They might try to make you feel bad for being suspicious of them. You know, you should trust them or something. Okay. That's a bad person. A good person would appreciate your responsible suspicion. Okay, if you said that you were suspicious of me, I would be like, I'm gonna try to help you gain as much trust as possible. But I recognize that complete trust is impossible. And I appreciate that you are not a naive person. So maintain suspicion of people. Try to expose that evil that you're suspicious of. Okay. And you know, make your suspicions the forefront of your interactions and your actions. Okay. We want to establish trust. So we have to do away with evil. We want to establish trust. Whatever you have to do to establish trust, you know, please try to do it. And obviously, you have to be reasonable and stuff, but I think you know what I'm saying. So, you know, when bad people pressure you and try to traumatize you and try to get you to join them and stuff, you know, maybe try to confuse you about them being bad, and you have to be cautious of that stuff. Okay. Bad people try to mess with your perception, your ability to discern, your ability to, you know. So just don't be naive thinking that people can't be wicked. Okay, that these suspicions that you're having of people, you know, are impossible. You know what I mean? Depending on what the suspicion is, but like if you just suspect that somebody may be a bad person, don't think that that's impossible. And you don't say people are good, okay, when you don't know that they're good. Okay, when someone says give someone the benefit of the doubt, okay, you don't say that they're a good person. Okay, you maintain the doubt. All right, you just don't act on it. That doesn't mean that you say that the doubt, uh, like, it doesn't mean that you say that they're a good person. You just don't act on the situation. Okay? You know what I mean? So when you're giving someone the benefit of the doubt, when you're suspicious of someone and you don't have certainty of if they're being evil or not, you don't say that they are good because you don't know, and that's irresponsible. Okay, that could actually be really bad. If they are evil and you say that they're good, you just join them. You're bad. So don't let them traumatize you into saying that they're good, whether you know they're good or not. Okay, don't let them confuse you to actually think they're good. All right, protect yourself from trauma. Okay, there are people that research how to traumatize people and stuff, and there are communities of people that talk about doing it. So protect yourself from that. And if someone says give them the benefit of the doubt, you maintain your suspicion and you don't say they're good when you